division. Ask that you heal the wounds of our land, the fires, the droughts, the homelessness, and the division of people's hearts. May your spirit move through California to bring
the media.
You certainly are. So
Okay.
this is what we're
go anywhere as a party solo.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mika Hale for a beautiful rendition of our national anthem.
We've been called for such a time as this. Hearts awaken, we will not miss. Every promise, every prayer, God is moving everywhere. The ground we lost, we now reclaim in Jesus' mighty name. Chains are falling, fear must flee. The Spirit sets us free. Take back the land, take back the ground. The trumpet of freedom is sounding loud. Holy Spirit, have your way. Refine us by fire. This is the day. God is with us. We will stand. Together we rise to take back the land. For freedom we fight. For liberty for all. Answering together the highest call. Hearts of courage, eyes ablaze, voices lifted, songs of praise. Every banner raised on high, heaven's army fills the sky. The cross before us, we won't turn back. Our King is leading the attack. With love unshaken, truth our flame, we march in Jesus' name. Take back the land, take back the ground. The trumpet of freedom is sounding loud. Holy Spirit, have your way. Refine us by fire. This is the day. God is with us. We will stand. Together we rise to take back the land for freedom.
buzzer. A little delayed response, but that's okay. It was pretty good. All right, fantastic. So, Doug, here's what we're going to do. Because I'm going to pass this mic over, I'm going to bring this over to Laura. Laura, you've got your mic. I'm going to bring this to
Ladies first.
you. Get to go first. Our first round is going to look like this. We're going to give Laura the first round of question, and we'll make our way all the way through with that answer. Okay? Then Doug will ask the next question. We'll make our way through this way, and then we're going to mix it up. Doug, Laura, candidates, let's begin.
So thank you. Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay. So thank you very much, Kim, Doug. First, I just want to say that I know it takes a lot to be here and be out in public. So I think that we should acknowledge that all of the candidates have made themselves vulnerable and given up their time and everything. So I just want to say thank you to them. So they don't have a lot of time for these questions. There are so many issues facing us as a nation today, and particularly in California. So Doug and I had, we talked about this, and it's difficult to narrow it down. But I think we came up with some things that are at the heart of what is troubling us as a nation right now. So it's a little bit unfair on Ryan because he doesn't have as much time as the others to think about the question. But my first question to all of you is, what is the biggest problem with the GOP in the state of California today?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, my time has already started, so I have to be quick. I'll tell you, I went to the GOP convention in March, and unfortunately, when I walked
to solve problem instead of problems is the fact that we have so much open borders here in California.
Candidates that we sent out to the media room, they've just completed. Okay? They're working their way backstage as we speak to get ready for round 2. These guys are now in the media room, and I think it's time to say a very big thank you to our sponsors who've made this event special and made it possible. Dan Ball, are you back there? All right, we're bringing Dan Ball back to the stage. OAN's Dan Ball. Dan?
Do I have a microphone? Is this mine? How are you going to talk? You need to grab one.
Dan,
By the way,
I
next
got
time,
3 microphones and I'm out of here.
I'm going to have to break out next time my Hollywood heels. You know all the short Hollywood actor dudes like Pacino and those guys are all short and Stallone. You know they don't know what I do every day. My wife tells me what to do and I say it.
No, don't.
Okay, anyway, she's watching at home right now. I know what I'm doing. I'm not stupid. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I thought we would start out. We got some great artist renderings here that you can bid on. And oh, by the way,
to challenge the stupidity of trying to get a lawyer to figure out the difference between a young boy and a young girl.
Thank you, Leo Naranjo. That, my friends, is the final 4th question. I'm going to come back over to you right now. All right, did they do a fantastic job? Did we get everybody? We got everybody? Those were 4 complete questions. Now, Lara, Doug, I think it's time to take them into, how many questions did we just do?
We did our 4, baby.
We did our 4.
Yeah,
so you know where we go now? In the meeting room, baby! Are you guys ready? All right, here's what we're gonna do. Lyra, I'm gonna grab your mic. I'm gonna have you come forward. Doug, and let's lead these candidates into the meeting room. But before we do, let's give them a round of applause. They did a fantastic job. Well done, candidates. Well.
Let's take our California back and a big in
For all.
not a president.
Participate in our events and
Whiskey Town Warriors. First album's called Whiskey Town.
I can say this in my church. I'm going to get in trouble. This is badass. This
Okay.
is so cool. I'm sorry, but
And
we
turn it
got
around.
Trump, we got Bobby, we got...
And without further ado, Steve Hilton. And last but not least, we've got Scott Shields. Scott, give me some skin. Oh, yeah. All right, candidates, would you please take your seats? All right, so now just to do a little bit of a refresher for you. First round of candidates did an excellent job, did they not? Yes? Yes? Okay, we're ready for round 2. We have 4 questions for you this evening. The first question, you will have 1 minute to answer. The second question, third and fourth, you will have 2 minutes to answer that question. Now, Josiah in the back end, would you remind us of the sound of the bell upon the completion of the 1 minute and then 2 minutes? Let the games begin. Round 1, Lyra Logan, bring on that question.
So thank you very much, all of you, for being here and putting yourselves out and being willing to serve. Very much appreciated. And I'd like to start with the elephant in the room, which is what is wrong with the GOP in the state of California?
That's a softball question.
Scott Shields,
That's
up
my
first.
specialty.
Okay, I've got 30 seconds. I can't say the name.
1 minute.
I can't say anything's wrong with him because I'm not familiar with him. But I do know that there's a losing record. So if you give the analogy of sports, we're in last place. So I think it's important to at least consider a different playbook and really identify what the opposition's playbook is and attack it and not play around with it. A sporting event can be competitive and serious. And I think that's what we have to do to take back California and the Republican Party. So that's what I believe is I don't know if there's one problem except the playbook. And I think we all have to discuss it. I've got my playbook that I think is going to be very effective. These candidates have been working hard on their playbook. I can win this.
Hold that mic close, brother.
I can win this election with my playbook. And I hope I can get the support.
That was Scott Shields. Next up, let's pass that mic along to Mr. Steve Hilton.
All right, I'm going to stand up. I want to bring some energy into this room. I'll tell you what is wrong with the Republican Party in California. We are not winning. We need to win in California. I'm tired of being told that you have to put up with it or leave this state. Why should we leave? We're not the ones that did this to our beautiful state. They need to leave. The corrupt, rotten regime in Sacramento, the establishment in Sacramento, and for too long the Republican Party's been propping it up. We need to fight back. What did President Trump teach us? Fight, fight, fight. That's how we take our state back. We've got to fight the corrupt elite. We've got to fight for working people in California, small business in California, fight for freedom and opportunity. My family left communism in Hungary. I came here with my wife and 2 children not to have the flame of freedom extinguished here in California by this corrupt, rotten regime. We are going to fight and we are going to win.
Steve Hilton. Thank you, Steve. And pass that mic over to Louis Herms.
Just to remind you, the question is, what is wrong with the GOP in the state of California?
Thank you, Laura. Well, first, this won't be popular, but it's a captured operation in California. That's the truth. The reality is they spend more time trying to put a rhino, Republican in name only, in office. The primaries are the most important, and they focus on getting a rhino because they know the Democrats there, it's 2 sides of one coin. It's a game. The primaries are the most important. The California GOP focuses everything where? They tell you to focus on the general election, don't they? Elections are won and lost in the primary. The California GOP, in my opinion, is a captured operation. They'll support 5 people while they're raising money for them, and at the last second, they'll throw it all into who I believe they have compromised. I don't need my full time for that.
Thank you, Louis Herms. Daniel Mercury.
Thank you. I love this question. So I truly believe, too, that they are compromised. But here's the problem, though. They become the party paid to lose. They're the party that only focuses on how much money a candidate can make. They only focus on whether or not that candidate is willing to sign any sort of agreements behind closed doors and all these silent accords. And so then it compromises the candidate, or the candidate is willing to be compromised under those sort of regimes. So they don't care about the nature of the character of the candidate. They do not care about their constitutional prowess. They don't care if the individual at the grassroots level, if they are somebody who stands on God, country, family. They don't care about any of that stuff. They care about their pockets. They care about maintaining control. And most importantly, they only care about constantly just trying to raise a sort of revenue for those who are on the upper echelons of the party. This is why they give themselves their own sort of, pay raise. So for me, I don't really care whether or not they want to endorse me or not. They are a party paid to lose.
Thank you. Right over to David Serpa. Thank you, Daniel.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Piggybacking off of what Mr. Hilton said, the Republican Party in the state of California is the party of principled losers. We are a participation trophy party. We have no real leadership coming from the party. We need to do 3 things in order to win. We need to have the right candidates running for the right seats. We need to have an organization that can support those players, and we need to have a mission statement that we all can stand behind. Something like a contract with California or a contract with America, because Texas was flipped in one election cycle in 1994 after being blue for 180 years. Just like Prop 50, how we are worried about losing 5 seats out of 52 seats and only having 4 out of 52. We are a party of principled losers. Instead of concentrating on the 20 seats that are now within 10 points of what President Trump got in 2024, going on the offense, stop focusing on not losing and focus on winning.
Thank you. Right over to, thank you, David. Pastor Cheon.
I'm going to say something that's radical. The problem is not being a Democrat or a Republican. The problem is righteousness. Righteousness exalts a nation, Proverbs 14:34. And what we have is unrighteous people in office. So we need a revival beginning with leaders. And I'm talking about even in the church first, because judgment begins in the house of God. First Peter 4, verse 17. So what I want to do is I want to say revival. I want to say the leadership of the church leaders to bring about reform, even to impact the Republican Party. I'm going to ask other pastors to run for office like I'm running. I feel I'm setting an example that we can't just pray about the problems. We need to engage. The Bible says those who know their God will be strong and take action. And Daniel chapter 11, verse 32. So what I want to do is I want to see a revival beginning with leaders in the church. Most of them are conservative. Most of them are Republican. And I believe that will impact the Republican
Thank you, Pastor
Party.
Che. Let's have you hold that mic for a moment. We're going to bring that right back to Pastor Che. Now, that was question 1. We're going to move over to question 2. Dr. Douglas G. Frank, you can take a seat, Pastor Che, until you're ready. Doug, let's ask that question, and then we're going to now go in reverse.
Outstanding. I like that first softball question.
That was awesome. Fire!
I also like what Kim was saying. These are the guys standing in the gap. It's pretty good. I like it. But anyway, ready for another softball, you guys?
Let's go.
The LA Times calls me the Johnny Appleseed of election integrity because I've been traveling the country, 48 states, analyzing voter rolls, election outcomes, and let me tell you, it's a disaster out there. And California is among the worst in the country. I got the numbers to prove it, okay? Your elections are a disaster. You mail 3 ballots out, 2 of them go to somebody real, 1 ballot goes somewhere else. What kind of election is that? No wonder you have so much cheating. Your people have lost faith in your elections. So here's the first part. How are you gonna win in that kind of climate? Okay? And 2, if you do become government, if you do become the governor, how are you going to fix this problem? It's a serious problem. You got machines, you've got systems, you don't have local control anymore. So first part is, how do you expect to win in this climate?
When the elections are rigged, that's what we mean by this climate.
Yeah, they're rigged. Yeah, exactly. How do you expect to win? And then second, if you were governor, how would you fix it?
Pastor Cheon, you're first.
Well, I was so encouraged when President Trump said we got to fix the election situation in California. We all know it's a mess. And what I want to do as governor is establish a commission to audit how the elections are being done. We have to have proper guidelines. We need to make sure everyone's a citizen. They have to have their voter ID. And I like the idea of everyone showing up on the same day without mail-in ballots and everyone voting when we're supposed to make it a national holiday, at least statewide in California, where people have the day off from school, from work, and they come and they vote like we used to do.
Excellent. Thank you, Pastor Che. And David Serpa.
Okay, so first off, how do you win an election when people are saying that we're past the point of voting? We go out and we talk to people. I've been talking to people for 3 years about voting, and they tell me we're past the point of voting, which means that 1, they don't trust this election system and their vote, or 2, they believe that violence is the answer. As a combat veteran, I refuse to believe that the only answer is Americans shooting at Americans on American soil. Refuse to believe that. Second, how do we win in this sort of situation where only 30% of people show up to vote? I mean, that's a huge issue. We need to start realizing that we become a party of apathy. The rest of the Republican Party in America treats us like a piggy bank. They come out here to Silicon Valley, they come out to Santa Barbara, they come out to Palm Springs, and then they leave for their competitive congressional districts elsewhere. If I win, we need to get the Secretary of State's office in control. We need to get our elections in control, not by moving back to same-day voting, voter ID, and whatnot, because why wouldn't we move back to stone carvings and smoke signals? We should be moving to the future with voting on a blockchain. The same sort of technology that we trust our money with in the stock market that provides real feedback instantaneously for your money, provides real instantaneous feedback for your vote. In the Secretary of State's office, you can't identify as a veteran. You can't say that you're a veteran on the ballot as one of your 3 ballot designations. Not only should that office be fixed, we should be able to identify as a veteran if we have served this country. But in addition to that, we should get the Secretary of State's office on an app. All of your paperwork, all of your records, all of everything that you need to have access to, you should have access in the palm of your hand. And then that way we aren't registering our cars for $850. We're registering our cars for 80 cents in the palm of our hands.
Thank you, David. Daniel Mercury.
I love David. I totally agree with David when it comes to why can't we, as candidates, put our name on the ballot as veterans. It doesn't understand that. I think it's going to put everybody else at a disadvantage. So that's nonsense. But when it comes to what are we going to do to try to win in this particular climate, I would encourage all of you out there to encourage as many Democrats as you possibly can to run for governor so that they can split the vote, right? Let's get as many dinos in there as we possibly can instead of rhinos, right? But when I think about this, we have to think about a number of things, right? What would I do if I become governor and I want to win? Well, one of the first things that I do, and I encourage everybody to do right now, is get involved with your local registration county clerk's office. They are the ones who are the key to our elections and the integrity of our elections. Many of them are either voted in by the people, they can be recalled. Some of them are actually put in by the Board of Supervisors. So we need to actually involve ourselves into that region of our local government to ensure that we have increased poll watching. We make sure that they are adhering to the California State Constitution, Article 1, I think it's Article 2, Section 2, that ensures that all
any new infrastructure by a
right after Roe v. Wade.
This is about giving. Good night and God bless. And no, they're not an audience.
It's just in peril.
Where's my music? Where's my music? Come on, we're showing down still. Oh, yeah. Excellent. Beautiful. Well done. All right, let's get them all on stage. Grab your marks, guys. Excellent, excellent. Your 2026 California governor candidates. Let's bring it up. Come on. All right. Excellent, excellent job tonight. Now, every single one of you who purchased a ticket tonight received a thank you. And in that thank you, you had the opportunity to ask your candidate a question. We took all of those questions and we put them into those four questions that you listened to tonight, okay? Now, there is one person in this room who has been randomly chosen to ask any candidate of your choice a question. So what it's going to look like is this. That candidate that is chosen will be given 2 minutes to respond. Candidates, are we good with that? 2 minutes to respond. Then we will go in 30-second rapid fire rounds. How do they do under the fire? All right, that's what it's going to look like. Lara, you're going to Lara, they do this to me all the time. Lara, you're amazing. I love you. All right.
Call me whatever you want. It's fine.
So Lara is going to make her way in between each of the candidates, and Doug will make his way afterwards. We're gonna start with this, right? All right. Doug
Yes, ma'am.
is going to go out to the person who
Whoever
I get
it
to
is.
choose. Gold ticket, Willy Wonka. Y'all remember Willy Wonka? Isn't that cool?
Who's
All right.
the golden ticket?
The golden ticket chosen tonight, randomly chosen, Kevin Pasco. Kevin Pasco, would you please stand?
Where are you, Kevin?
Excellent, Kevin.
There he is.
Excellent. Kevin.
Way to go, Kevin.
Beautiful.
Come on out here in the aisle.
Kevin, your question is just a pure question. There's no story. You just bring on that question. And Dr. Doug Frank is there to support you. Which candidate do you choose?
Which one you want to ask?
Go with Lewis.
He's going to go with Lewis.
All right, hang on. Who are you choosing?
Lewis Herms.
Lewis Herms. All right. And the question is?
And your question is, sir?
Lewis, if you become governor, what are you going to do about the child trafficking and the censorship on all our platforms and the state of California?
Well, it's interesting because most people know that if they know me, child trafficking is my number one issue. But guess what? There wouldn't be child trafficking if we had no censorship. Because we've been trying as hard as we can, and the media's been suppressing us, the government's suppressing us. The number one issue really is the suppression of our voice and the First Amendment. Because if our voices were where they should be, none of these problems would exist. What would I do? First thing I would do is, as Lara was indicating, is I would go after Child Protective Services and the judges that are obstructionist judges that are allowing this to go on, including chemical castration of our children. That's done. I would have a symposium with the sheriffs immediately and tell them, as I do with my other platform, remember your oath, we're always doing this, is we will hold you accountable or support you if you're doing your job. And that is mega important. We need to rise them up when they're doing their job, and when they're not, they need to be held accountable. First thing I'm going to do in regards to that is I'm going to have a website called exposure.ca.gov. And anybody that is acting inappropriately in regards to taking care of this issue will be exposed on our website. If a judge is not doing his job, he's going on a website. If CPS is not doing their job, we're calling them out on the website. And over, because we, the people, will end up having to put the pressure on it. It's never about me, and I'm sorry, it's not about these candidates, it's about you. And we, the people, have all the power to take California back and save our children 100%, but you got to step up, you got to do it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lewis Herms. And let's start right here at the end. We're going to work our way in. Doug's going to come back up to the stage. Doug's going to take that side. And Lara, let's start right here with you, Kobe. And then Doug, we'll move on to who's down that other end? We're going to alternate. Yes, you are. We got Leo Zaki. All right, again, 30-second rounds, and the sound of the buzzer is? What's the sound of the buzzer? Give me that. Give me the ring. All right. Begin.
I'm Kobe J. Markham, California governor candidate, and if elected, what I would like to do to stop the child trafficking is use the California Highway Patrol, that are actually the California State Police, to start investigating and enforcing and breaking these rings and start working with them in addition to the FBI if these trafficking rings are internationally involved and also involved outside of the state of California. It's important to prosecute anybody involved with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kobe.
Okay, you're up.
We have to educate our children about what's happening and how you can look for signs of sex trafficking. Also, informing the parents is going to be key. We have to be vigilant in our communities to be able to prevent this. But most importantly, we have to crack down on the organized crime syndicates that are carrying this out. Having secure borders and making sure that these people are treated, the criminals, that is, are treated the way that they deserve, and that's thrown under the prison. We should absolutely use the death penalty against people that are taking our children like that.
Thank you, Leo.
We're going to maximize all the punishments for anybody that's committing any of these crimes, number one. Number two, we have to empower all of our law enforcement officials to go, don't hold back, go after them, go hard, make sure it's a full court press. But number three, we're going to make our voices louder than theirs. We're going to make sure that we educate everybody on the severity of what's going on in our state of California and make sure that nobody wants to offend against any of our children out there.
Thank you, Ryan.
In 2000, I sued Governor Newsom for locking down the church, my basic First Amendment rights. And then they tried to silence me by fining me $4.5 million and put me in jail. By God's grace, I went to the Supreme Court and I defended my freedom to speak about this issue. I won 6-3. I beat Newsom, then I'll beat him again.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Shay.
I agree with all the criminal aspects that everybody said here, but I also think we need to set up a whistleblowing program that is very confidential, and so they can electronically get to the police department without having a fear in their community, because that's a reality. Fear. So we definitely need to apply a whistleblower program and protection for them. That is key.
Thank you, Scott.
Well, as a father of 6, number one most important thing is protecting our children. I don't know if you guys know the sheriff in Florida that perp walks his people that do wrong things to children. We need to do the same. Our sheriffs should be perp walking these guys and making it known who they are and taking care of business. And if I'm governor, all these people in this line right here are going to have a voice in my thing. So we need everybody.
Thank you, David.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all the candidates here for saying pretty much the same thing, that we're going to put these people in jail, or we're going to try to, because the first thing they said was we're going to get them arrested. We're going to hold them accountable. The word accountable is overused. I'm not looking for accountability. I'm looking for responsibility. I don't want to know how many people got arrested. I want to know how many people were sentenced after they got tried, and if they were convicted, they're going to go to jail for long periods of time. If you hurt a child, first 5 years, automatic, no questions asked, on top of everything else that you will be charged with.